today, our head coach, Mr. Renzy Parnell. A little less than a year, we began our coaching search. That search was led by our athletic department, Joe Bogdan and Mike Schott, and our superintendent, Jeff Talbot. Me, I stayed away from that as far as I possibly could. You see, in my 30 years of management, I have a little rule that's done very well by me. You hire A+ people with A+ talent, and you expect A+ results. And for the love of God, you let them do their job and stay out of their way. I share this story with you because when Superintendent Talbot called me and said, hey, you know that statement you have about A+ people? Well, we found one. He proceeded to tell me about Renzy Parnell, the highlights of his interview, and the outstanding resume that he possessed. An Akron native, Coach Parnell earned his BAA in marketing from Kent State University. His first coaching position was with his alma mater, Akron Garfield, in 2004, coaching linebackers. He took his talents to Akron's Archbishop Hogan High School, coaching linebackers there as well. After a brief hiatus, he returned to Hogan in 2013 to coach the linebackers and the defensive line. In 2015, he became their defensive coordinator. As the D coordinator, he was an integral part of 5 state titles and produced 6 Ohio Defensive Players of the Year. In 2025, he became the head coach at Camp McKinley High School. Coach Parnell is a dedicated and highly accomplished coach whose career is rooted in leadership and elite-level defensive strategy. He has built a remarkable track record of service at respected high school programs throughout the state of Ohio. He has encouraged the development of a strong work ethic, positive character growth, and leadership amongst our young athletes. Our community has embraced him, and our kids love him. It is truly an honor to introduce to you the head coach of the Camp McKinley Bulldogs, Mr. Renzy Parnell.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. Such an honor and a blessing to be here today. So I really appreciate it. So when I was asked to speak, I'm like, well, what do you want me to talk about? What do you want me to say? Well, you can talk about whatever you want. And it's really, you got to save some time for questions and answers. I was like, okay, cool. So questions. So, no, but before we get to that part, I'll just tell you my journey and a little bit about myself that maybe not all of you know. But was born in Akron, Ohio, East Side, and there's a poem that I want to read to you. I'll tell you why it means a lot to me. So it's called Just Do It. You can do as much as you think you can, but you'll never accomplish more. If you're afraid of yourself, young man, there's little for you in store. For failure comes from the inside first. It's there, if you only knew it. You can win, though you face the worst, if you feel like you're going to do it. So just do it. So the reason that's important to me is that's basically how I grew up. My mom made that poem up. She recited that to us, it seems like every day. And as you get older, you always kind of remember her saying that. So I grew up, I heard Allen Iverson say a quote. He said, my mom always told me that I can do anything I wanted to, and I just believe it. So that I was the same way. I just believe it. I believe that I can be anything I want to be and do everything I want to do. And for me, it was football. My dad was a football coach growing up. My whole family was big-time football players at Akron Garfield. My uncle was a big-time player at Akron U. And all of them coached. My dad and my uncles, they all coached. And the day I was born, my dad was actually coaching the championship game. And he ran to the hospital because 2 things. I was being born, and one of his players had actually ended up getting paralyzed. So he ran to the hospital for one of his players. And at the same time, my mom was going to have me. So it's kind of a sad story, but a unique story. He ended up at the hospital, and I was born on that day in the middle of the championship game, and they won the game, which was pretty cool. So I felt like it was my destiny to be a head coach, although I never imagined it would happen how it happened. But with my mom telling me that, so I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to the NFL, right? I play football. I'm going to the NFL. I had a pretty decent career as a youth. Got even better as a high school player. I was pretty good there, and then went on to Kent State University. I was recruited by a lot of D2 schools and a handful of MAC schools, and Kent State was right in the backyard. Just felt it was a good fit. At Kent State University, I ended up having a really good first year, playing well. They took exception to me, and then ended up playing behind a guy named James Harrison. Well, I don't think that's gonna work out. So, James ended up playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you don't know who he is, but a Hall of Famer in my book. But after college, you still get the itch to be a part of some type of football. And with my dad coaching, I went back to my alma mater and coached and fell in love with it. It actually took me by surprise. Didn't think I would like it that much because you lose control somewhat of the things you want to do on the football field. You got to rely on the kids to do it. But I fell in love with the process of coaching. I mean, fell in love with it. It was my stress reliever. So at this point, I'm working for a company called Goodyear Tire and Rubber. And my stress reliever in life was to get to that football field as fast as I could to coach the kids. And so I knew then, like, man, this could take over my world. But it was unrealistic from a financial standpoint, right? I got a kid at that point. I got a wife, and I'm trying to earn money. So eventually, it kind of faded, and I stepped away for a little bit because I was doing well at my job. I got promoted, and my dad looks at me and says, "Hey, so I understand you got a territory now. You got your company car, you got your company laptop." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You need to step away and go learn how to manage the territory." I'm like, "Well, I think I can still coach." He says, "You need to step away and go learn how to manage the territory." So I did that. I stepped away, learned how to manage the territory, and a gentleman by the name of Tim Terrell shows up in Hoban and hires my dad. And then he meets me and he's like, "All right, hey, I need you to coach." I'm like, "Nah, I'm done. I didn't really want to coach at Hoban, to be honest with you, again. And I wanted to coach in the city if I was going to coach again. I wanted to go back to Garfield or go through or somewhere like that." And he's like, "No, listen, I need you to coach. Like, I need you, whatever you can give me, I need you to coach." I'm like, "All right, well, it'd be cool to coach with my dad, right?" So that was the incentive for me, is to coach with my dad. And I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Just meet with me on Sundays and tell me what you can give me." I said, "All right, I might be able to give you 1 day a week." So that first year, I gave him every day because, of course, you get out there and it's like, "Oh man, I love this." So every day I was in, and I gave him every day. And then the enthusiasm, the work ethic, everything started coming out, and I'm just like, "All right, this is not enough. Coach, we ain't doing this right. We need to do this." So I would pull him to his office after games, after practice, and try to change stuff and say, "Hey, look, this is wrong. We need to do it this way. Here's why." And I think he respected that because there was a lot. I wasn't a yes man type of guy. I would challenge him in certain situations. But what he respected is I can get on the board and show you why I'm thinking what I'm thinking and why this is that. So in 2015, he named me the defensive coordinator, and we won a state championship in 15, 16, 17, 18, and 2020. And so that for me was super gratifying for me to be able to implement my plan. And he really kind of named me the head coach of the defense, if you will. And we took off from there. So there's a gentleman by the name of Bruce Flossie, who was my defensive coordinator in high school, and was the defensive coordinator I went back and worked for before I was with my dad. Bruce Flossie is who kind of gave me my coaching wings, because we're just young kids out of college, and nobody really listens to us, but we work hard. And we're energetic with the kids, and we're not too much older than them at the time, so they like us. And we're passionate, and we started meeting over his house on Sundays, and he started letting me put the actual game plan in. And for me, that was like, "Are we really gonna do it? You gonna listen to me?" So it was pretty cool going through those moments with him and actually seeing what you present work on the football field. So that was kind of the start. That was the start of my coaching career. And then went through Hogan, and then getting the opportunity with Kent McKinley was just a dream. Honestly, I had kind of gave up the whole head coaching thing because where I was in my professional career. I knew it'd be hard for me to take a job just because I had gained so much traction in my professional career. It'd be hard for me to look at my wife and say, hey, I'm gonna go be a head coach and don't worry about the money I made and all the hard work I made professionally. So that was a hard thing to do. So I really kind of gave up on it, to be honest with you. But God works in mysterious ways, and I was able to get an opportunity to be a head coach at Kent McKinley High School, and I'm forever grateful for that. It means the world to me. But the biggest thing for me is when I took the job, everybody wanted to say, well, you know, what's your coaching strategy and how do you coach and this? And the biggest thing for me right away was we're gonna build the program on love. And I don't think people understood exactly what that meant at the time. But love is what this first year got us to where we are. And we're not by any means where we want to be, I know that. But it's really what made us who we are. Especially now. So today, in the world of NIL and kids graduating early to go to college, and it's like the better team you have, the more you have to fight against for keeping these kids engaged and playing for one another. But when you build the foundation, when the foundation is love, you don't have to worry about that as much because they play for love, they play for family, they play for the brotherhood, they play for each other. And for me, that's the proudest thing of my whole, since I've been here is the culture that we've built on love. And I know there's a lot of schools that have big time players, and if you don't have that, it's tough now, right? Because you got NIL money, they check out early, right? You don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. They just want to go to college, play ball, get their NIL money, get their awards, get all that stuff, and they're not playing for each other. So for me, the principle, the ideal, the play on love is really where I feel like we made our name at. And I owe my parents to that because it was just how I was brought up. I owe my mom that poem. It's how we were brought up. We were brought up through love, coached through love, and it's kind of how I got to where I'm at. So I appreciate it. With that, I will open up now for questions and answers. But there's one more phrase I want to say because this is something that hit me. I heard someone say this and it hit me pretty hard. Never let desperation change your destination. Never let frustration change your destination. Never let temptation change your destination. But be still and let God move. So for me, that was powerful because there were definitely times where I was desperate. There were definitely times when I was tempted. And there's definitely times when I was frustrated. And if you move too fast, you'll miss your opportunity. So I appreciate it. Questions? Questions?
So bring the microphone to him real quick.
Say it.
Get the microphone first.
This isn't so much a question as it is a congratulations. I got to see you guys play Menor on television, and up until the time, nobody was even coming close to Menor. And you guys came in with such a wonderful game plan, and having, I think we close to one of them at halftime, and played such a strong game. So congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And Menor's a really good football team, and it's tough to kind of talk about it sometimes because we felt like that game was ours. But you learn your lessons. The biggest thing is just to learn when we're in that situation again how to move on from that. So tough lesson, but we'll get there.
I have a question for you. At Kent McKinley, I realize you're the head coach. What do you have set up for the kids to help them be successful also academically? What kind of things are you doing there to help them in the classroom?
Yeah, it's a good question. So before I answer it, we had a goal this year of a 3.0 team GPA, and we accomplished that. So it was pretty cool. Right just above 3.0, so I was proud of that. Yeah, it was good. So one of the things we did was we brought in a academic advisor, if you will, and we really engaged on the everyday process of what they go through. So we're constantly checking, their grades, and staying on top of them. We also have implemented study tables for all of our athletes, to be honest with you. So where they have mandatory study tables after school, before practice. And then we just got a great staff. We got a great staff. We got a great team of people who truly care. We're really identifying who needs help with NCAA, because graduating high school and going on to play Division I or Division II or Division III, college sports are two different things sometimes, and they're constantly changing rules. So we're dedicated to that. The kids know, obviously they know we love them and we're here for them, but we get on them pretty hard to make sure that they continue to do well in school.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Good afternoon. I was wondering, during this holiday season, get-togethers with your family, are you going to have a discussion with your father about driving to Canton or staying at home?
No, that's an easy one. He's here. Like, he's here with me all the way. The bigger discussion is I have a younger brother who's an offensive line coach at Walsh. That's the discussion there. Yeah, Walsh Jesuit, yep.
Okay.
Coach, congratulations on your year. What do you think about bringing Mass in the federal league?
In the federal league, it doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter. As long as we're playing them, I'm good.
Are you teaching him McKinley as well, or?
No, I'm the assistant athletic director.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think in the future it's possible. I think we got to be careful with who we schedule because it's limited. We obviously playing in the federal league. There's not like a ton of open weeks to do so. But yeah, I would love to play Holden. We don't shy away from anybody. But we also got to look at the openings and make sure they line up, if you will.
Coach, what was some of the first steps to help your team know or show them that you were basing the program on love?
So the first thing we did was we thought it was very important to hire a strength and conditioning coach and a speed and agility guy, and those guys had to get along and go hand in hand. So that was the first thing I did, was hire a gentleman by the name of Coach Mike Winkler, and a gentleman by the name of Coach Ramon Stokes. Those two gentlemen have meant the most to me in our program. They set the foundation. Those two gentlemen also coached through Love. And so that's kind of where it started, right? We started with them. And it was shaky for a while, like when I first got the job. It was shaky sometimes in the locker room, it was shaky in the weight room, and sometimes that takes time. And we just stayed on them and was able to talk to them and make sure they understood why we were there, why we were handling things the way they were handling. And I think some of it for them was a little shock, to be honest with you. There were things we did in the weight room. Like if you go to our weight room today, anytime you step in there, you'll notice that every dumbbell is faced the same way. Every bulldog on the plate is faced the same way. Every bar is lined up with the exact same height as the next bar. The floor is nothing on the floor. Every jump rope is hung the same way. Like, it's the little things that we start building and we start demanding when we first got here. And really, you set a bar, right? The bar is the bar, the standard is the standard, and you don't accept anything less. And the more you build relationships with people, the more that, with the kids, I should say, the more that they understand that, man, okay, I understand. He wants the best for me. And you'd be surprised with, what you get from kids when they understand that.
Hi, Coach. Question on, you might have already hit on some of it, but what do you think are some of the biggest challenges and distractions that you have with some of your players in dealing with them?
Players are great. Sometimes you gotta fight parents. Parents are great. I mean, listen, it's a different world we live in, so it's a lot of different distractions, to be honest with you. Social media is now a big thing. You know, video games, but it's kids, right? I mean, we all been there, and I'm a parent also. I got two boys, and I treat them how I treat my boys. I raise them how I raise my boys, and it works. It works, and that doesn't mean that 100% of the guys are brought in, because you always got some guys on the outside friends that are not. But the bigger you can have an impact on that percentage, the better chance you have. And now I feel like we're to the point now after 1 year where we attract other good kids, and we attract kids that want to change their lives for the better. So that's where we are.
Coach, what are your thoughts about playing in the Federal League? There's been talk, maybe you can drop out. I think that would be bad for the sports program overall because of the girls' sports and stuff of that nature. But playing in the Federal League, what do you feel about that?
I have no issues playing the Federal League. I like the Federal League. It's good football. One thing that's different about the Federal League, and I say this from my experience with at Hoban and helping with scheduling and that type of thing. The Federal League is very competitive. It's very good coaching in the Federal League. And for me being a defensive coordinator, it's very good quarterback play in the Federal League, if you haven't noticed that. So I love the Federal League. It's a challenge to face, some of they're well coached, face good quarterbacks. So I have no issues at all with it, and I would love to stay a part of it. But also, you run into a lot of scheduling issues if you're not a part of the league, and that can be tough, right? There were several years at Hoban where we scrambled to find a game, and you always want to play 10 games, especially for your seniors. And we would scramble to find games. You end up playing teams in Canada, and sometimes you're playing games that's the quality of football goes down, right? You're either playing one of the best teams in the nation or a program that's barely alive. So to be a part of the Federal League is a good thing, in my opinion, or some sort of league. The Federal League is very good. It's good football here in Stark County, so I have no issues with it.
Coach?
Yeah, if money is the root of all evil, what do you think is going to happen in NIL in high school versus the philosophy of building a program based on love?
That's a great question.
Now you got NIL.
That's a great question. It's tough, right? Because I do agree that some kids deserve to be able to make money, like their peers. So I get that, but I think that's the challenge in coaching, right? Is to continue to build it on love. And the game of football, more than any other sport, teaches so much about life and love and family and brotherhood. And I think it's up to us as coaches, high school head coaches, to really continue to preach that and to coach that way. It's a challenge, it is. But I think our high school athletic association has done a good job of kind of mandating and putting certain caps on things, the way that they have it structured. So I think that's going to help. I think we got to continue to regulate it also, so that it's not the wild, wild west out there with money. But with those things in place, it is a challenge, but I'm up for it, and I'm sure Ohio high school head coaches are up for it as well.
Coach, I understand you're a Penn State graduate. I was wondering what your football experience was like at Penn State. Who was your coach, and what was it like playing behind James?
Yeah, so my experiences, so I led a lot of Canton Killing Bulldogs when I went to Kent State. So my first experience, really be honest with you, was with Mike Doss. He became a really good friend of mine. And when I went to Kent, I became really tight with DeMarlo Rozier, who's another really good friend of mine. So two Bulldogs, two really good Bulldogs in my opinion. But our relationships grew in college. And I had a great experience. So, I mean, Ben McDaniels came in with me also, Matt Curry, Rashawn Hall, Steve Smith, James Gamble. There was a ton of Bulldogs there during that time. But so my experience at Kent was great. We weren't the best program in terms of winning at the time. And we had a fellow named by the name of Josh Cribbs come in and play quarterback, got us over the hump a little bit, and had some winning seasons after that. But I played for a gentleman named Dean Pease, who's very popular. He's retired now. We talk all the time. But he most recently, I think, was with the Baltimore Ravens. He's a defensive coordinator with the Ravens, with the Tennessee Titans, with the New England Patriots. And he's probably with the Nick Saban / Belichick tree. So learned a lot from him. It's probably the reason that I'm coaching today. There's a lot of the stuff that he taught me. We continue to talk. He's going to be at the high school clinic this year, so we'll meet up again. But it's kind of a big snap on my picture at Kent State. Met a lot of good people. Don't regret it at all. And playing behind James, I mean, I got to see what a pro looks like between him and Josh, so it was pretty cool.
Another question for you, Coach. You had a really big year. I was impressed with the game you played against Mentor. Mentor's where my granddaughter's from. But how many guys, seniors, are looking at scholarships at the next level? Division 1, Division 3. How many players off the team are looking to play in college?
Yeah, so good question. So we're still evaluating that right now. Like, we're in the middle of that. To be honest with you, we got another recruit night tonight with colleges, but we do have a good amount of kids looking to play D3, D2 in Division I football. It's hard to say right now how things will shake out, but we had probably 20 plus seniors, and about half of them will probably end up playing football somewhere.
Coach, a follow-up to that question. Are the division schools 2, 3, and 1 that are contacting you, are they matching up to the expectation that the players want or deserve?
No, you know how kids are, right? Everybody thinks they can play at Ohio State. So, just to be honest, but in some cases, yes. There's a sense of reality that I meet with all my seniors. I've already met with all my seniors, and there's a sense of reality that you understand what level they are, and that's from football performance and also grades, right? It's important for us to make sure they understand where they are and get everything that we can get for them. So that's what we're doing now. One of the things in that process, though, back to a question someone asked earlier, is it's important for us to get to these kids early. I remember being in high school, like, if you can be a freshman and maybe not care as much about school or things not go the way you want them to go, and then midway through your sophomore year, you start to say, hey, I got to turn things around. And then junior year, you're like, man, okay, I'm good now. And you can be a great student and not realize that what you did your freshman year affected you getting into college. And it stinks, right? Because you're not as mature as a freshman. And there's a lot of things that you need guidance on as a freshman. And by the time you're a senior, you figured it out, and you're super mature, and you're a great student, and none of that matters. Because everything you did your freshman year, you couldn't climb out of that hole academically. So it's important for us to get to our kids early, which we have a great process in place now. Unfortunately, it's tough for seniors because they're already there, right? So you try to make the most of it. You try to get them in as many advantageous areas that you can. But that's part of what we're building at McKinley, is making sure that from freshman year up, that they know that this is important and this is going to affect you when you are a senior. And most time when they get to a senior, they understand it. It's when they're a freshman and sophomore when they don't. So that's the hard part about it.
Coach, who are members of your coaching staff?
Who are the members? Say it again.
Yeah, who is your coaching staff? How do you have that broken out?
So I got a lot of family in there, to be honest with you. so my father is a part of the staff. College teammate Reggie Crook is a part of our defensive staff. There's some people I brought from Hovind with me. There's a lot of people at Hovind that came to Hovind because I was at Hovind, and I brought a lot of those guys with me. I got another brother, I got two other brothers that coach with us. One came from Baldwin Wallace. He was the defensive line coach at Baldwin Wallace, and he came back and coached with me. The other one was at Hogan with me. And then there's a couple guys from Hogan. Ryan Burke is a Youngstown State guy, played under Tressel, coaches with me. And then offensively, we retained Chris Davis, who's a great coach, coaches our offensive line. Daryl Moore is our offensive coordinator right now. He played at Kent State with us as well, and played under DUPs. He actually played under Doug Martin as well. Had another year, so he's an East Carolina coach. And then we got Jill Jackson, Joe Ewell. It's a bunch of guys that have come together to make sure we get stuff done. But I'm really proud of all my coaches. Chad Anderson is an ex-Bulldog who coaches with us on the defense side as well.
Hey, I don't know if this has been discussed today or not, but as a head coach, what are your thoughts on Notre Dame not wanting to play in a bowl game? Isn't there a lot of ramifications of donor money, boosters, that kind of stuff that's going to take a big hit?
Yeah, it is. That's a tough one. That is a very tough one. You lose a lot. I think the way they're doing it is more of a boycott, to be honest with you. They felt they should have been in the playoffs. I agree. They should have been in the playoffs, so it stinks how that process is going. But so it's both ways, right? You hate for you to see one do something like that because you want to play in a bowl game, right? At the same time, if you're on the outside looking in, you kind of applaud someone standing up and boycotting for what they believe in. Like, you hate to do that measure to do it, but it's tough. You see it both ways.
Just to add to that, did the kids have a say in whether to do the bowl game or not?
Yeah, that's
what really got hurt, the kids.
Yeah, I don't know what that process was like, but you'd hope that they had a meeting of some sorts before that decision was made. If not, that would be bad.
What do you think about the protective helmets?
Oh, the covers?
Shell, yeah.
Yeah, they're good. I think it's great. Like, you know what I mean? It limits the concussions. You're seeing great results from that type of thing. I don't think it's necessarily. Like, I'm not, like, you don't have to have it, but I think it comes into play when someone has a history. So maybe they've had some concussions in the past, and that will protect them from getting more. So, like, I'm a Browns fan, so I think Denzel Ward needs a cover. Man, if he loses him one more time, it might be it. But I don't think it's necessary. The technology that they put in just the regular helmet nowadays is phenomenal. So I don't think it's necessary, but I do think it's great that they have it as an option.
Is it a player's option?
Yeah, it is, 100%. Yeah, and you're allowed to wear it. When it first came out, it was just a practice thing. You could wear it in the game. Now you can wear it in an actual football game.
Thanks for coming out, Coach. We appreciate you talking to us this morning. What's your team next year like? What do you got coming back? Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of good young kids coming back. Our sophomore class has got some big time football players in it. I'm really happy about our freshman class too. Like, they got a lot of big time players in that class as well. So I'm excited. Our junior class was probably the most talented class when I first got here. I did recognize that. So it should be a good year for us. We got to round it out. Obviously, it's early, but we'll see what happens.
What do you think about NIL? Do you have any kids that are involved in NIL?
Yeah, no. So like I said earlier, I'm a fan of it in terms of the opportunity that it leaves for the kids, and that I do think that they deserve the opportunity to make money like their peers. However, it's got to be regulated, because without any type of regulation, it's the Wild Wild West. I think OSHA is doing a good job of that thus far. So we'll see how it goes. As far as our own kids, not necessarily. I mean, we may have some small things here and there. NIL, in my opinion, is really about some of the best of the best. Like some of those kids you see going to Ohio State or Michigan or Miami, Alabama, like that's really where NIL comes into play. There will be opportunities at lower levels for NIL, but nothing crazy. But we have some good football players coming up. Sometimes it depends on size. Like they're young enough to where you can't predict how big and how strong they're going to get. So we'll see what happens.
Could you explain how your feeder system is going to work for the lower grades up to varsity? And go ahead and do that. And I got
All right. So as far as that goes, so we got a lot of youth in the city of Canton, right? And we've got a program in the city of Canton. So basically, that's our main feeder system is Canton Youth Football. Now, there's other football programs that have kind of branched off from that we include as well. That whole thing has changed mightily as well, the whole youth football program. But so now there's travel teams that travel a little further away. There's teams that play in the Canton City League. There's teams that designate tournaments that they go to. So it's just encompassing all of them together and understanding that, hey, we're all Bulldogs and we're all rolling up to the same pipeline. So it's exciting because there's a lot of talent in the city. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Has open enrollment helped you at all?
Well, not yet. I think going forward it will, right? So it's kind of too early for that. Some people make the mistake too. Open enrollment is only for incoming freshmen. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, can you get this kid from here? It's not about that, right? It's about incoming freshmen and giving them opportunity to go different places outside of their district. But I think it will help us. To be honest with you, to me, I see it more as an opportunity for us to give the kids, not just in sports, but we've got a tremendous amount of programs at McKinley that they can benefit from. We have several different programs downtown. We got like a culinary program that's freaking awesome. We got a sports medicine program that's awesome. The girls have cosmetology, so it just opens up all kind of opportunities. We've got early college program. I mean, my son is a freshman at McKinley, and he takes college credit plus classes right now. So he's currently getting college credit, which is saving me some money. You know, opportunities like that is what it's meant for.
Coach, I've never had a chance to ask you a question. But I've never asked you this question. How would you compare the support and resources you get from the administration of Kansas City Schools and the booster clubs here to Akron-Hogan?
I'd say it's unmatched. Yeah, the support is tremendous, and that caught me off guard, right? I didn't know it could be this, so I'm really thankful for that. The support is awesome. I think that other schools have support systems, but I wouldn't. With everything involved, to me, this is the best job in the state of Ohio.
I got a couple for you. Back to the NIL.
Where we at? So I can see.
It's new to us, the NIL, at this level. I'm not gonna ask you to name names or anything like that, but can you give us just a real street shot of exactly the kind of offers that are coming through for individuals? And how you deal with that? Is it, you have something collectively with your staff? Or does it go this way, we're gonna handle it like this, or you have a committee that looks at it, or just give us a ground level look at it, because it's all new to us, and we kind of have no idea what the limitations are. That kind of thing.
Joe, no sweat. no, it's new to us as well, and we're still working through all of that. Now we've had several meetings, and we got more meetings scheduled. So, what is the ultimate plan? How do we structure this? There's a lot of good talk going on. I won't be specific on how we'll specifically handle it right now, but I will say that we're on top of it. I'm excited about some of the meetings we've had. I'm excited about how we're going to go forward with NIL. Now, like what I've seen, nothing specifically for us, but in the past, so there's two kids that I'm close with that I coached their entire career at Hoban. And when you get to a certain level, one of them is going to Ohio State, the other one is going to USC. And they'll probably make close to $1 million, believe it or not, at those two type of kids. So that's like the upper end of what you consider like a 5-star kid. That's the lengths that some of these programs are going through too. And sometimes position plays a big part, right? So those kids are offensive tackle, which we know is very regarded in football, and a corner, which is the other spot besides edge rusher, where you can get that type of money. So.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for coming. I just wondered, when you were at Hogan, did you play a team called Bishop Sycamore?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about that?
Well, we had no idea that they were who they were. They weren't very good. They had a lot of good athletes, though, to be honest with you. They looked the part. But yeah, that was a wild deal. So at the time we played it, we had no idea. That story wasn't released till probably maybe two or 3 weeks after we played them. So it's kind of like, uh-oh, who we just played? So.
Coach, do you have any people that will advise those lucky people that get $1 million how to handle their finances?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I hope we get that type of player that can make $1 million. That doesn't happen often. That's not something that's very rare. Very, 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 very rare. That you have a player that makes that type of money. You don't need that type of player to win a state championship, I'll tell you that. Like, it doesn't take that. But you do wish the best for anybody who has that type of talent. And yes, we'll have a plan to advise kids to make sure that they, one, stay out of trouble, stay legal, and no one takes advantage of them.
I remember LeBron James, when he got into the NBA, was advised by some of the Cavs players to get involved in his finances and a small group of friends and remember his mom. And he's done that. And it's good advice for
Yeah, I think the support system is huge for these kids, and I'm a part of that, their support system, every kid, and we make sure that, there's multiple people. You've heard the phrase, it takes a village, right? That's a very true statement a lot of times. So from admin to the coaches to the parents, to big brothers and big sisters.
Coach, I know your big rivalry in Hoban with Walsh Jesuit. So how does that translate between McKinley and Massillon?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's no comparison, to be honest with you. But it does, so when, actually, to be honest with you, for most of my time at Hoban, it was St. B. And St. B had won two state championships right before we kind of swung that around. They had some loaded teams. A lot of guys went to Ohio State off those teams as well, or at least a couple of them. But for me, it prepared me like a lot of other things have in life. The Hoban experience prepared me for where I'm at now, playing some of those big games. I would say the rivalry itself is no bigger high school rivalry than McKinley-Massillon, so that's not comparable. But just being in those situations, being in those pressure moments, understanding how to prepare kids to play in a big game, like all of that prepared me for where I'm at now. It's just like in life, just like my job. Like, I didn't realize it at the time, but my sales career prepared me for where I'm at now. I was talking with one of my coaches and telling him how, a lot of times as a coach, when you have to learn how to manage coaches, you coach other coaches, not just kids. And I was explaining to him like, hey, I didn't learn how to do that in football. I learned how to do that in the business world. I learned how to do that in my sales career. I learned how to do that as a district manager. And so it's pretty cool to see when you look back at life and how you were prepared for certain moments that you didn't know you were prepared for. That's how God works, in my opinion. So I said it to say, like, the whole rivalry thing, there's a lot of people, hey, this is gonna be a big rivalry, it's gonna be different, it's gonna be that. And for me, it's kind of like, hey, I'm ready. I've been here before. I mean, you know, obviously it's a bigger scale, right? McKinley Massillon, but, you know, I was well prepared.
Coach, Mayor, yeah, what's the difference you notice between the Holden players and the McKinley players? Do you notice a big difference between the attitudes you saw at Holden and the attitudes you saw at McKinley with the players?
In the beginning, no, but now currently it's just, you know, as you get into it, just expectation. I think that, at Hogan, we built a program where the expectation was to win every game. It was just what we did, right? And I think now at McKinley, we're there as well. But we had to make that adjustment in the beginning. But other than that, no, there's not a big difference.
Harold Fannin.
Yeah.
I think this on? Yeah. Harold Fannin, obviously is a credit to Ken McKinley, but has he reached out to you or your team in support?
No, not yet, but obviously we're rooting for him. He's an awesome player, man. You see that catch he had yesterday, that was unbelievable. But yeah, we always root for him. I think, actually, I take that back. He has contacted one of the guys on my staff that was on the staff last year, and just support, he still supports the program, that type of thing. But yeah, he's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.